July 14th, 2025. Remember this date, because this is no ordinary day in Washington. This is the start of Crypto Week. For the first time in U.S. legislative history, an entire working week of the House of Representatives will be dedicated to deciding the fate of one of the most disruptive technology sectors of the 21st century. These are no longer sideline debates. This is the main event. A globally seismic political signal, a firm declaration that the world's most powerful nation has decided it can no longer stand on the sidelines. They will either write the rules or watch the future of finance be shaped by other forces. On the table are three bills with the potential to change everything: the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, and the Anti-CBDC Act. Each name is a piece of a puzzle, and when assembled, they form a comprehensive picture of America's vision for the digital finance era. So what's behind these names? How will they impact the wallets of over 55 million Americans and hundreds of millions of investors globally? And why, right now, is America compelled to act so decisively? In today's video, join Pi from us for the deepest, most detailed breakdown ever. Fasten your seatbelts, because we are about to enter the heart of this political technological storm. Part 1. The Clarity Act, ending the deadly gray area. To understand the importance of the first bill, the Clarity Act, we must rewind through a decade-long legal war. A gray area has stifled innovation and caused billions of dollars in damages. This is the showdown between the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. The SEC, wielding its legal hammer known as the Howey test from 1946, has always tended to view everything as a security. This test, originally created for investment contracts in Florida orange groves, defines a security as the investment of money in a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation of profits to be derived from the efforts of others. It sounds reasonable, but when applied to the crypto world, it becomes a tangled mess. Is Bitcoin, with its decentralized network, the efforts of others? Are utility tokens, used to access services in an ecosystem, an expectation of profit? This ambiguity has given the SEC almost absolute power to enforce, with a shoot first, ask questions later approach. They didn't provide clear rules, but instead launched lawsuits against one company after another. Look at the tragedy of LBRY, a project building a decentralized content sharing platform. The SEC sued them in 2021, alleging their LBC token was an unregistered security. The result? After 2 years of costly litigation, LBRY announced it was shutting down in October 2023. A promising tech project died not from technical or market failure, but from being crushed by bureaucracy and a law from the 1940s. Or consider the lawsuit of the century, SEC versus Ripple, in December 2020. The SEC accused XRP, the world's 7th largest digital currency, of being a $1.3 billion unregistered security. Immediately, the price of XRP plummeted by over 60%. Major U.S. exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken were forced to delist it, wiping out tens of billions in market capitalization and causing severe harm to millions of retail investors. This chaos is precisely what the Clarity Act, creating legal accountability for regulators in an innovative and transparent environment, aims to resolve definitively. This bill does two revolutionary things. Clear demarcation. It clearly defines what a digital asset is and divides regulatory authority. Digital assets that function as investment contracts, meeting the Howey test, will be regulated by the SEC. Decentralized digital assets that function as a commodity, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, will fall under the jurisdiction of the CFTC. This is the clarity the industry has been begging for years, creating a path to compliance. More importantly, it creates a pathway for projects to transition. A token might initially be issued as a security during fundraising, but as the network becomes sufficiently decentralized, it can be reclassified as a commodity. This is a lifeline for innovation, allowing projects to grow without living in fear of a sudden lawsuit. Why is this so important? Look at the numbers. As of Q1 2025, the total crypto market capitalization has surpassed $3.3 trillion. According to a report by A16Z Crypto, there is over $400 billion in venture capital waiting on the sidelines, ready to pour into American Web3 startups if a clear legal framework exists. The Clarity Act is the key to unlocking this massive flow of capital, keeping talented minds in Silicon Valley instead of fleeing to Dubai or Singapore. This bill isn't just about removing a bottleneck, it's an affirmation. America will not let an 80-year-old law hold back the next technological revolution. Part 2. The Genius Act, building trust on a dollar foundation. If the Clarity Act is the brain, then the second bill, the Genius Act, is the heart of the future digital financial system. And that heart is the stablecoin. Stablecoins, digital currencies pegged to a stable asset like the US dollar, are the bridge between the volatile crypto world and the traditional financial system. They're the bloodline of exchanges, the backbone of decentralized finance applications. The numbers don't lie. According to data from The Block, in 2024 alone, the transaction volume settled by stablecoins surpassed $10 trillion, officially overtaking legacy payment networks like MasterCard. Stablecoins are no longer a niche product. They are becoming global payment infrastructure. But with great power comes great risk. In May 2022, the world witnessed the seismic shock named Terra USD. UST was not like USDC or USDT, which are backed by real assets. It was an algorithmic stablecoin, maintaining its value through a complex mechanism with a sister token, Luna. When the market experienced high volatility, this mechanism collapsed. The death spiral pulled the entire $40 billion ecosystem to zero in a matter of days. Millions of people lost their life savings. Confidence in stablecoins took a devastating blow. The collapse of Terra, along with the subsequent bankruptcies of giants like Celsius and FTX, sounded an urgent alarm in Washington. They realized that without regulation, these financial time bombs could pose a systemic risk. That's where the Genius Act comes in, guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoins. This bill does not prohibit, it builds. It sets a gold standard for U.S. dollar-pegged stablecoins. One-to-one backing requirement. This is the core rule. Every stablecoin issued must be backed by one real US dollar or by extremely safe and liquid assets like short-term treasury bills. No complex algorithms, no vague promises, just real verifiable assets. Transparency and audits. Issuers must publish monthly reserve reports audited by reputable independent accounting firms. Users have the right to know where their money is held and how secure it is. Licensing and supervision. Stablecoin issuers will be licensed and supervised by federal financial regulators, similar to banks. They must strictly comply with anti-money laundering and know your customer regulations. The Genius Act is more than a set of rules, it's a shield of trust. Compare this to Europe. They moved ahead with MiCA, the Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation, fully effective in 2024, which also imposes strict rules for stablecoins. America knows it cannot afford to fall further behind. If passed, the Genius Act will transform stablecoins from a Wild West into a recognized, legal, and trustworthy payment tool. It will pave the way for the use of stablecoins in retail payments, cross-border remittances at near zero cost, and create a solid foundation for the next wave of innovation in DeFi. This is how America ensures that the stablecoin revolution is built on the most solid foundation, the strength and stability of the dollar. Part 3, the Anti-CBDC Act, the battle between control and freedom. We've talked about clarity and stability. Now let's talk about the most controversial bill, one that touches upon the core values of American society, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance Act. While the world, from Europe to Japan, is actively researching and piloting central bank digital currencies, a powerful wave of opposition is rising in the United States. Why? To understand this, we must look to China and its digital yuan. The ECNY is not just money, it's a tool of social management. Every transaction you make is recorded on a government-controlled ledger. They know what you bought, where, and when. It is further programmable money. The government can set an expiration date on your money to stimulate spending. They can prevent you from buying certain items. They can freeze your account instantly if you participate in a protest or post content they dislike. It can be directly linked to the social credit system. This is a vision of a total surveillance society, a nightmare George Orwell described in his novel 1984. The fear of a digital dollar taking the form of the ECNY is the driving force behind the Anti-CBDC Act. This bill has two main objectives. Prohibit the Fed from acting unilaterally. It forbids the Federal Reserve from issuing a retail CBDC directly to the public unless explicitly authorized by Congress through a separate law. The power to create money must remain in the hands of the people's elected representatives, not unelected officials.
Prevent surveillance. The bill also prohibits the Fed from using any CBDC to implement monetary policy or collect personal transaction data. It bluntly states currency must be a tool of freedom, not a tool of control. The vote for this bill in the House Financial Services Committee revealed a deep division, 27 in favor and 22 against. This narrow margin reflects a fierce ideological struggle within America. On one side, supporters argue this is a red line to protect privacy and the civil liberties enshrined in the Constitution. They argue that once the government has the ability to monitor every transaction, the door to tyranny is opened. On the other hand, opponents worry that if the US doesn't develop a CBDC, it will fall behind China in the race to shape the future of global currency. They argue that a properly designed digital dollar could enhance payment efficiency and maintain the dollar's hegemonic status. The Anti-CBDC Act is a conscious choice by a segment of American lawmakers. They are betting that a private sector-led digital currency ecosystem with well-regulated stablecoins, under the Genius Act, and other digital assets, clarified by the Clarity Act, is a superior model, one that respects freedom more than the state-downed CBDC model. This is not just a debate about technology, it's a referendum on the future of society. Do you want a world where your every transaction is under a microscope, or a world where you maintain your financial sovereignty? Crypto Week will deliver America's answer. Part 4. Ripple's Outcry and America's Awakening. So why, after years of delay, is America suddenly acting with Crypto Week? A large part of the answer lies in the bitter warnings from industry insiders, most notably Brad Garlinghouse. His speech before the Senate was not just a testimony, it was an indictment of the sluggishness of the American legislative system itself. Garlinghouse didn't just talk, he presented cold, hard evidence. His company, Ripple, is an American company, founded in America. But to survive and grow, they had to seek licenses all over the world. Ripple is licensed to operate in Singapore, a major financial hub. They have licenses in the UK and Ireland. They are welcomed in the United Arab Emirates, which has enacted a comprehensive legal framework for digital assets. But in their own homeland, they were dragged into a 4-year legal battle that cost over $200 million in legal fees. Ripple's story is not unique. Data from PitchBook shows an alarming trend. In 2023, for the first time, the Asia-Pacific region surpassed the US in venture capital investment into crypto companies. Startups no longer see Silicon Valley as the only promised land. They are going where the rules of the game are clear. Garlinghouse pointed out a bitter paradox. The lack of legal clarity in the US does not protect consumers. On the contrary, it exposes them to more risk. When major US exchanges had to delist XRP for fear of the SEC, millions of American investors had to turn to foreign exchanges, places with less protection, to trade. Bureaucracy inadvertently created a more dangerous environment for the very people it was meant to protect. And Ripple's legal victory in July 2023, when Judge Annalisa Torres ruled that sales of XRP on exchanges did not constitute an investment contract, was not just a win for one company, it was a crack in the SEC's fortress wall. It proved that their enforcement-first, rulemaking-later logic was unsustainable. The outcry from Garlinghouse, from Coinbase, from the entire industry has finally been heard. Crypto Week is the acknowledgement that America can no longer allow American value to be forced to grow outside of America. They have realized that in the 21st century technology race, standing still means falling behind. Conclusion. A great nation cannot miss history. 3 bills. Clarity provides regulatory separation. Genius ensures stability. Anti-CBDC protects privacy. Together, they don't just shape the future of cryptocurrency, they are reshaping America's role in the global financial order. Blockchain is no longer a niche technology for IT geeks. It is becoming the foundational infrastructure of the 21st century, like electricity in the 19th or the internet in the 20th. From supply chains and digital identity to ownership of intangible assets and a faster, cheaper, and more transparent global financial system. If America continues to hesitate, it won't just lose businesses and its status as an innovation hub. It will lose something more precious, the right to set global standards. A future where stablecoins are pegged to other currencies, where state-run blockchains controlled by other nations become the norm, would be a future where America's financial soft power is severely diminished. Crypto Week is a gamble, a bet that America can forge a third path, not lawless chaos, nor total state control, but a smartly regulated, private sector-led ecosystem fortified by the values of freedom. Garlinghouse ended his speech with a call to action. Let's make America the crypto capital of the world. That is not a slogan. It is a warning, a rallying cry. And the week of July 14th to 18th, 2025 may be when the world witnesses America answer that call. What do you think? Will America succeed? Ultimately, in the world of blockchain, law cannot be a chain. It must be a road. And America is trying to build that road. Thank you for watching this in-depth analysis from Pi from Us. This is a historic moment, and we will continue to bring you the latest developments. Leave your opinion in the comments below. Do you think these 3 bills will pass? And what future awaits us? Don't forget to like and share this video if you found it useful, and subscribe to the Pi from Us channel to explore the future together. Goodbye, and see you again.